everyone, Renee here. So this video is due to an overwhelming number of you requesting my Deciem favorites or picks for SLOWvember. And I will always welcome the opportunity to talk about one of my favorite brands. So what I'll do is probably do NIOD and everything else today, and then upload separately my new updated ordinary favorites. It's only been maybe 5-6 years, so I think that's due. If you want to see a more extensive and detailed review of all the NIOD formulas that I have ever tried in the last 6 to 7 years, then I will link that video down below, up here, here. So this video is going to be more focused on my personal favorites, what I consistently have been using through the years, what continues to perform the best considering all the other, formulas that I try, but I keep going back to these ones, and these really are, in my opinion, the best of the best and truly unique. I'm going to start with a desert island favorite here, and I don't say that lightly. Survival Zero, one of the most powerful antioxidant serums that you can find. If you're familiar with some of my previous morning routines, particularly the ones from last year, then you'll see that I love the combination of ascorbic acid, this, and sunscreen. I mean, I don't think it gets more powerful than what I consider to be my holy trinity of defense. Now, if you're someone whose skin cannot tolerate L-ascorbic acid, this is a fabulous and strong, worthy replacement. In fact, it is a very complete formula, which I truly appreciate. So not only will it work to protect your skin from environmental factors, but this also works to help repair at the same time, repair and treat those signs. User experience is about as good as it gets for me because it is actually hydrating. There's a super lightness to it that absorbs instantaneously, so it's very easy to layer with this. Again, this is without exception always in my summer routines, and I always use this in my morning routine because that's when it makes the most sense to me. Paired with SPF, it doesn't really get a lot better than that. Second desert island favorites, CAIS and CAIL. I'm not going to go too much into my love for NIOD's copper peptides because they have already received so much airtime. A lot of what I say is just going to be so redundant for you. There's something about these formulas that no matter what else I have tried that are similar, everything has just paled in comparison. My first love was CAIS, the original formula, and it's just been upgraded since. In fact, now the third version is one that does not even require being mixed because they found a way to stabilize it really well. Brandon, Deciem's founder, told me that he believed CAIS2 was powerful enough to replace retinoids. This was also his holy grail sort of desert island formula as well. This has always been the only worthy formula to alternate with retinoids because I don't use retinoids every day. I use it every other day, and this is what I use in between. And it's also the reason why I don't use them both together. You can actually use them. There's no contraindications. It's just a matter of whether or not your skin can handle two extremely strong formulas in one routine. But for me, it's almost like even if your skin can handle it, is it really necessary? Do you really need two in the same routine? So I love alternating, and I think alternating has been the best combination for my skin. This is all about maintaining firmness, the collagen integrity in your skin, keeping everything youthful. CAIL is a bit more of an acquired taste in my opinion. I personally love it though. So this formula is all about volume and keeping volume, that youthful plump volume. It's mainly the texture that I believe is not for everyone and might put some people off, but I think you have to have a little bit, you have to play around with this first. When you first try it, it's gonna seem like it can't really spread. It's gonna seem too thick, almost Vaseline-like, but it goes through a texture change while you're applying, and I've talked about this quite a bit, where suddenly something happens and it just becomes the most spreadable. So you don't actually need a lot. In the beginning, when you're first applying, it's going to seem like you do, but you really don't. So I use a very, very little bit. In fact, I use a lot less of this than I do the CAIS, which is about as watery as it gets. And this is absolutely what I switched to during the winter time because it has more of that lipidy texture. And I think if you're someone who has a lot of dehydration, this is really good at just kind of keeping that in. This is a formula I use exactly in the same way as CAIS, but particularly because of the texture of it, it's something that I will only use at nighttime, whereas CAIS, sometimes I use in the daytime too. So maybe not such a popular opinion here, but for me, MMHC isn't actually a must. Don't get me wrong. I think when it comes to hydrating serums, specifically the hyaluronic acid type hydrating serums, you can't get better than MMHC. For someone like me who takes hydration to the next level, I mean, for me, it's the aesthetic aspect as well. I want that hydration glow. I want my skin to be bloated with moisture. Then MMHC just doesn't get me there. But what I actually find myself preferring as a really, really good hydrator is SDSM, Superoxide Dismutase Saccharide Mist. Now, this is one of my favorite mists of all time, and this is super hydrating, but it has the added benefit of just powerful antioxidants. It's got the superoxide dismutase. This I consider to be more than just hydrating. It really is a skin treatment, which is why I don't just use it throughout the day to mist on my skin. I actually use it in my routine because not only is it like bouncy skin hydrating, but it's got some punchiness to it as well. One bottle of this lasts forever, which is good considering it's been out of stock pretty often and for long periods of time. So, you can use it. I used it all over my body. I've misted it everywhere. Last year alone, I went through more bottles of modulating glucosides than any other skincare product. This is what I bring out when I'm experimenting with actives, or in the case of last year, I went up in my tretinoin percentage, and that actually wreaked a bit of havoc on my skin. I will be talking more about that in the future. Other times I love using this is after a particularly strong acid or peeling treatment. So 30% AHA from The Ordinary, the Bloody Mask. This is great to use right after. I feel like it does a lot in just countering the effects immediately after calming the skin down. And this has a really beautiful kind of, it's not emollient, but it's got a light lipidy texture that just really comforts the skin and makes it not feel so tight. The other thing I believe that's very noteworthy about this is that it is one of the few calming serums in existence that don't have hyaluronic acid or niacinamide in it. These are great ingredients and they're very beloved by me, but there is a number of people whose skin can't take it. Someone very close to me actually has an intolerance. His skin reacts to niacinamide, which means almost nothing is available for her to use because everything contains niacinamide. Hyaluronic acid is the same thing. The fact that this calming serum doesn't have either of them is actually quite thoughtful. It really has a great calming and anti-inflammatory effect, and that is what I look for. I just need anti-inflammation. I need to calm the redness. Sanskrit Saponins during the summer or for really congested skin can be a real skin saver. It is one of the more effective cleansers, but it really, really decongests as well, all without being too stripping in my experience. Like, it actually feels like a gentle cleanser. I approach this cleanser the same way I would approach an intense treatment, so like a clay mask or something. And so if I were to use this every single day, it would definitely dry out my skin, or it'd be just too strong for my skin. But also, I'm not naturally oily, or at least not acne prone right now, so it's not necessary. In fact, even Deciem, I believe, recommends to use it every other day at most. I'll take it out whenever I feel I just really need some decongesting. I use it as a second cleanser, so I use an oil cleanser, oil-based one, to remove all the makeup, all the surface level impurities, and then I use this as a second cleanser to truly deep clean the skin. I do want to talk very quickly about the fractionated eye contour because that is a treatment that I really love. It's kind of a serum but can also be used on its own, but it's also a treatment that I apply on my upper mobile lids as well as under. There are very few, if any, treatments that you can actually apply on your mobile eyelids as well. And I feel like this area is one that is of particular concern for me. I'm slowly watching this whole thing just get lower and lower. This combines 28 different types of technology to target the different signs of aging around the eyes, or that can happen around the eyes. It's not heavy at all, so it just kind of makes the eyes feel more. It's got the peptides to keep everything nice and firm and lifted, as well as the hydrators to, help with plumping out the skin and the dynamic lines. I just love that it's a nice firming treatment. And if I need more moisturization, I can use it under an eye cream. I couldn't possibly not talk about the best hand cream in existence, which is from the Chemistry brand, their hand chemistry. In fact, I would even venture as far as to say that this is one of the most perfect moisturizers. In fact, if this came without any scent, then it would be going all over my face. This is good for the entire body. It is just the best moisturizer. I've got this in pretty much all sizes, from the mini one that goes in my handbag to the pump. I love the pump. I just keep it on the table and I apply it everywhere I have skin. This is a well-aging hand treatment, so not only is it fantastic at repairing my dry, cracked hands and bringing it back to a state of normalcy from actually a place where it's even itchy and painful, but also it targets 6 signs of aging, and it aesthetically too, it does something. My hands can appear pretty witchy, but when I apply it, everything kind of smooths out and softens and blurs out. It absorbs really quickly, it dries down really, really quickly, but it leaves a nice blurred, soft layer on your skin that's not invasive at all. It's not like greasy or anything like that, but it's just, your hands feel moisturized. I've tried all the hand creams under the Chemistry brand. If I were to choose one, it's always going to be this one. The HA Hydrator and the Concentrate are also great, the green ones, but the pink is what I keep going back to. It's just, there is a scent to this, and like with everything, you're either going to love it or hate it. I'm very neutral because I just love what it does for my hands. Another favorite from the Chemistry brand is their Retin Oil. This has been a favorite for years now. The only thing is, again, as with a lot of my favorites, when I see it in stock, I'm going to stock up. I'm going to get a bunch because they sell out very, very quickly, very easily. I've always been very partial to body oils. This is no exception. This is an active body treatment, which you gotta love. After I shower, I just love to slather on my body oil on semi-damp skin, and then I just slip on a robe and I just hang out and let it do its work. This contains 1% gram-active retinoids, which is a great well-aging treatment for the skin on your body. It's actually quite a treat. This is one of the driest oils I've ever tried. Like, as soon as I apply it, it just sinks in, it absorbs, it kind of dries down to a dry finish, which is kind of magic. This also has THD, a powerful vitamin C derivative that is particularly effective at brightening and evening out the skin tone. Using this daily is such a great treatment for your skin. It really evens out the skin tone, it smooths everything out, it does everything a gram-active retinoid would do on your face. So just giving the body some love as well. Unfortunately, I didn't bring this with me on my travels, but I definitely want to give a special mention to the Abnomaly Room Mist. If you've ever been to any of the Deciem stores and wondered what the scent was, this is the scent. This would be it. And it just happens to be exactly the kind of notes that I love, which is slightly spicy, earthy. It's kind of grounding, but at the same time, sort of exciting and uplifting as well. And I love spraying it all over. It's subtle. It's not overwhelming at all. In fact, I'm waiting for there to be a candle. I hope there's a candle soon because that would be perfect. I will be posting my updated ordinary favorites as well, so stay tuned for that. That will be up shortly. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye.